there, friends. It's Jay, your one-int wizard, and today I'm back to give you another story. I know I missed last week, but between ADHD, working on another project I'm really excited for, and completely changing our office layout, it's just everything's been getting all lost in blah. It's just crazy here, but I'm excited. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time because it is just me today. I'm bringing you another story from r/RPG Horror Stories. This one is also posted by Faradheim, like the last one. The time the problem player wasn't the Catgirl. Content warnings for queerphobia and in-character suicide attempt. Hello there. I'm a veteran of a decades-long TTRPG career, which has left me with a multitude of horror stories and glory stories. This is, despite the tags, one of the better horror stories I've had. The game was Pathfinder 1E, before the occult classes and much, much more, around the time the Guide to Making Your Own Races came out. The group was one of my first online voice games, as before this I'd stuck mainly to play-by-posts out of a social anxiety dealing with voice. However, I wanted to deal with this problem head-on and start getting used to using voice games and just over the dread that came from phone calls. The main players in this campaign were myself, the GM, my oldest RPG partner who had followed me from play-by-post to voice games because we gelled in many systems, another play-by-post partner, and then two randos we found on Roll20 who seemed to buy into the world. Now, I'm old hat to RPG spheres, even online, and I thought I could handle things. In fact, I'd gotten rid of the usual red flags, not reading the prompt, being hyper-weeaboo-ish, etc. I bring up the weeaboo-ish mainly because this was a homebrew world I was making to be based on Japanese lore. I am of Japanese descent myself, and wanted to turn some yokai and favorite races from fantasy into a world that was Japanese adjacent. I spent a long time crafting the races so they were all balanced out in the race points or whatever manner the Pathfinder system did so that no one race would just be better. TLDR, I have a handful of regular races given new cultural outlooks and several new types of races. The world is Japanese adjacent, but not wholly L5R style. The cast begins world building. For now, we are myself, GM, my oldest friend, I'll call Bard, my other friend, I'll call Samurai, rando number 1, I'll call Witch, and rando number 2, I'd call something insulting, but let's stick with Rogue. My oldest friend gravitated towards the custom race of Nekomata, a humanoid cat person race. Samurai stuck to human, Witch stuck to human, and Rogue chose elf. Everything went swimmingly in chat before game, and people began tying their backstories together as we were starting at level 3. It was honestly very nice. Seemed like it was going to go well. No major red flags or anything. In fact, the first few sessions seemed pretty chill. That was before the seduction attempt. In-game, the players had been searching for a way to get into a crowded city camp of bandits and their cruel, vicious leader. The plot was to send in the Bard, who would perform rare field arts to win over the bandits and try to get some information. The bandits allowed the Bard and Witch in, but the Samurai and Rogue have to stay at the outskirts until everything proved to be on the up and up. Being clever, using some good enchantment spells to boost successful skill rolls ended up getting the Bard an audience with the bandit leader, who turned out to be a nasty elf lady who was looking to get revenge on blah blah blah. She's evil. She gets drunk. The Bard, taking me by surprise, asks to seduce the bandit leader. Why does this surprise me? Bard's player is asexual/aromantic and has never in a game had run with her as a player played someone with any kind of sex drive. I shrug, say yes, and Bard does really well. I ask what Bard plans to do and she glibly replies she'll make sure the elf bandit is asleep without magic. We laugh, fade to black, and since the elf bandit ended up sleeping with the Bard, the other party members were brought in with the bandits being chummy and kind of bro-y about their leader just having a thirst for artists. The rogue does what he's supposed to do and sneak attacks the sleeping elf bandit. Bing bang boom, things go well. Then comes the next session. Rogue starts acting weird. Subtle weird. I'll now admit I'm asexual too. not aromantic, but I don't flirt naturally or easily, so I didn't pick up on all these little hints. Bard didn't either, being even more or less interested. Yet, Rogue began to start following the Bard around and even admitted he might start multi-classing if she taught him. Finally, after a second session, he came out to try and woo Bard. She, in character, is flattered, but turns him down with a declaration that she must master her art before she can even think of settling down or even trying to date. Rogue pressures, even stealing an ornamental comb from a courtier to offer Bard as a gift. Bard again thanks him, says no, and returns the comb to the courtier. The courtier thanks Bard and invites her to a dinner at a local official's house, which I was thankful for because I could add hooks here, and the party goes. Party stops an assassination at dinner. Courtier NPC is terrified. Her father, the official, is poisoned, and she begs the party to find an antidote. Hook set. By the end of the session, they have gotten the antidote. There's a deeper hook about the rogue's family / ninja clan / something being tied in with animosity to the assassin set to kill the official. Should be great until I have the courtier offer to kiss the Bard for her assistance. Note, this was the final scene and was just a simple 5-minute scene of Bard and NPC sitting outside before the kiss. And Bard does so. "Oh, she's a lesbian," Rogue stated, as if everything was finally clear. Bard's player shrugged, and I hoped that this would end the weird behavior / what I now know as was ham-fisted flirting. It finally goes to shit. Buckle up, buckaroos. Rogue is now starting to get itchy to find some magical items. He begins checking if the witch class has transmutation spells, working with witch's player. I don't remember if they did, but whatever he was looking for, he didn't find. He's now beginning to chafe a bit. I decide to be generous and throw in a scroll of lesser wish or something akin to a small "do what you want" button. It wasn't completely broken, I felt, and was in the loot of an evil mage. I forget exactly what the spell was, but it was enough. As the scroll was read, the spell cast, and the wish asked for, I immediately saw what was going to happen. I thought I knew at least. Rogue: "I wish to be a girl." Me, slightly hesitant. "Okay," describing the spell going off. "You're now a woman." Rogue: "Bard, I did this for you. We can now be lovers." I was flabbergasted. I'm what reactionaries would probably call an SJW because I care about safety at the table, but this is when the X card was the only real safety tool I knew about. I'd never seen someone play the long game to be a creep like this. Bard, who I'll always envy for how cool and collected she is under pressure, says, "What do you look like?" Rogue: "Huh?" Bard: "What does Rogue look like now? Exactly as you did before, or did your body change?" Rogue: No, I'm not going to describe his wickedly purple prose about how ample his cleavage was and had torn through lacquered armor somehow during the wish. How his outfit was now almost skin tight. Again, lacquered armor strips, and how he was irresistible. He described a woman that would make Jessica Rabbit or Barbie look like a healthy body ideal. Bard: "I tell you what I did before. Thanks, but you're not my type." Rogue, in shock that he was turned down. But you're a lesbian." Bard: "I don't know what I am. I've never had romantic feelings before, but Courtier's personality and love for her family interests me. I've already composed a poem for her." Rogue: "But I'm hot." Samurai Witch and I had been silent during this. My jaw behind the screen had been agape, but I finally spoke up. "Okay, Rogue, you're a woman now. The scroll crumbles to dust." Rogue: "I draw my dagger." I sigh and am about to say he can't attack the Bard when he turns the dagger on his character. Rogue: "If you don't leave, Courtier, I'm committing ritual suicide." Me: "What?" Rogue: "I'm a freak now. I did all this for you, and you were making me do this." All of us, either still sun silence or what again? Rogue: This will restore my honor. I drive the dagger into my heart. Me. No, you don't. Rogue, back to screaming. This is based on Japan. They have ritual suicide and I don't want to be... Insert a slur for a transgender person of your choice here. Samurai. Dude, not cool. It was the only thing said for a moment, though Rogue's heavy breathing was coming through his mic. Me. I don't think you're the right fit that I thought you were, Rogue. Rogue. But I'm a nice guy! I was already in the process of banning him from the chat when he said that. It was the last thing I ever heard him say. We sat stunned for a few moments. I apologized and said I'd probably not be able to continue this campaign without rearranging some things to strip what Rogue had been doing from the world, but that I'd try to continue. Bard. Wow, you're such a nice guy. Thankfully, that session ended with all of us laughing. The campaign didn't finish, we petered out, but I'm still strong friends with Bard. Samurai moved to Europe after her time in college, and Rando number 1 and I still talk now and again. But he's mostly into D&D, while I prefer D6 and D10 systems. Extreme TLDR. Cunning nice guy throws a fit when his magical sex change doesn't win him a Catgirl geisha. First, shout out to OP. I totally get having voice issues. I really have never fully liked my voice, and it's always been in a different state of how I feel about it. So, props to you for ever trying to get past that. For the story itself, I guess there were warning signs that Rogue was going to be just a total douche. But really, I think those were things that you would have recognized in retrospect. It felt like after a little bit of build-up, shit just hit the fan, and honestly, that's probably better for everyone's time. I think I also would have missed any signs that the Rogue was gonna turn out to be a nice guy. And I really have to applaud Bard for just maintaining such a cool attitude. I would just flub over all my lines there. So overall, it was a very short and sweet story. I enjoyed reading it. Next week we have at least one story read by my mimic friend, and then I'm hoping after I can put out one of my new special projects, but we'll see. Life is just always in flux. Thank you all for listening, love you all, and safe travels.